In today's world, temptations are everywhere. On our phones, in our feeds, in our daily lives. It seems like we can't escape them, no matter how hard we try. One of the most pervasive temptations that constantly surrounds us is lust. And in the digital age, it's not just a fleeting desire, it's become a constant companion. It's in the ads we see, the content we consume, the influencers we follow, and even in the way we interact with people online. Lust, in and of itself, isn't necessarily harmful. But in the modern world, it often becomes something more. It isn't just a passing feeling, it's a cycle, a pattern. And with every notification, every moment of weakness, we can feel like it's pulling us deeper into distraction, out of control, and further away from our peace of mind. What's worse is that it chips away at something even more precious than our focus. It chips away at our mental clarity, our self-control, and our sense of inner peace. The more we give in to these distractions, the more we lose sight of who we really want to be. It's a subtle erosion. One moment you're just scrolling. The next moment, hours have passed, and you're left feeling empty, restless, and disconnected. This is where the ancient Stoics can offer us some valuable insight. They didn't live in a world of social media or smartphones, but their teachings on desire and self-mastery feel incredibly relevant today. They understood that the key to inner peace isn't about avoiding or suppressing our desires. It's about ruling over them. They believed that true peace doesn't come from being free of temptation. It comes from controlling how we respond to it. Part 2. What is lust? According to the Stoics, the Stoics didn't view lust as inherently evil. They weren't moralizing. In fact, they acknowledged that lust, like any other emotion, is part of the human experience. What they did see as dangerous, however, was allowing any powerful emotion, lust included, to take control of our actions without reason. They referred to this as a pathos, which is a Greek word meaning a strong, unhealthy passion. It's not the feeling itself that's dangerous, it's how we react to it. The Stoics taught that emotions like lust, anger, or fear, in their extreme forms, cloud our judgment and steal our peace. And while lust might seem like a natural feeling, when we let it dominate our thoughts or guide our behavior impulsively, it becomes a source of inner chaos. It moves us away from rationality and the ability to act in accordance with our values. Here's the key. The Stoics didn't advise suppressing our feelings. Instead, they suggested that we practice mindfulness and control over our reactions. Lust is not something we can simply wish away, but we can choose how we respond to it. If we act out of impulse, we give that emotion power over us. But if we observe it calmly with a sense of detachment, we take that power back. In practical terms, the Stoics believed that by cultivating awareness and self-control, we could rise above our more impulsive desires. We could choose to act in ways that align with our values, not just our momentary feelings. By doing this, we regain our ability to focus on what truly matters, our long-term well-being, our peace of mind, and our personal growth. Part 3. Awareness is the first step. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This is one of the most powerful tools we have in our journey to mastering our desires. When lust arises, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by it. It can feel like it's taking control, pulling your focus and energy towards something fleeting. But the Stoics understood that our first step is to realize that we don't have to react automatically. Instead of fighting the feeling or judging yourself for having it, try this. Observe it. See it for what it is. A thought, a passing desire, just like any other. Don't make it a battle. Don't try to suppress it with force. Just recognize it. Pause for a moment, and then ask yourself, do I control this desire, or does it control me? This question is the key to shifting the power back into your hands. By becoming aware of the desire without judgment, we create a space where we can take control. The moment you pause and observe, you separate yourself from the automatic response. This awareness alone is often enough to diminish the strength of the impulse. It's not about suppressing feelings, but about seeing them clearly and making a conscious choice about how to respond. Part 4. The space between urge and action. There's a profound truth in the Stoic practice. Between every impulse and the action that follows, there is a moment of choice. It's a split second, but it's there. In that brief pause, you have the power to choose how you will respond to the urge. The Stoics called this the space between stimulus and response. And it's in that space that your freedom lives. This moment is your opportunity for reflection. It's your chance to decide whether you will give in to the impulse or whether you will choose a different path. Lust is powerful, yes, but choice, your ability to pause, reflect, and choose, can be even stronger when you practice it. The Stoics trained themselves to live in this space. They didn't let their emotions or impulses dictate their actions. Instead, they learned to reflect before they acted. In that moment, they asked themselves, is this action aligned with my values? Does this desire help me become the person I want to be? By choosing to reflect rather than react, they maintained control over their actions and ultimately their peace of mind. And here's the beauty of it. The more you practice this pause, the easier it becomes. Over time, you train your mind to naturally create that space, allowing you to consistently choose your actions rather than be swept away by impulse. Lust becomes just another feeling, not something that dictates your behavior. Part 5. Question the desire. Seneca, one of the leading Stoic philosophers, once asked, is this necessary? This simple question can be a powerful tool in moments of temptation. When lust arises, don't just react. Pause and ask yourself the same question. Is this necessary? Start by digging a little deeper with a few more questions. What will acting on this give me? What will it take away? Will this action align with my values? By asking these questions, you begin to weaken the grip of automatic impulsive behavior. Lust, like any other desire, often feels urgent in the moment. But when you step back and question its true cost, it becomes easier to see it for what it is, a temporary feeling that, while intense, won't bring you long-term fulfillment. The Stoics believed that by examining our desires and questioning their true value, we could gain clarity. We stop being controlled by our impulses and begin to act in a way that aligns with our deeper goals and values. In other words, these questions don't just help you resist lust, they help you understand whether it's worth your energy in the first place. Part 6. Replace. Don't just resist. The Stoics didn't simply teach us to say no to our desires. They taught us how to replace them with something more constructive. They didn't believe in mere resistance, they believed in redirection. When faced with an urge, whether it's lust or any other impulse, the Stoics didn't just suggest we fight it. Instead, they recommended we replace it with an action that builds our mind and spirit, rather than distracting it. When lust rises, don't just try to suppress it. Redirect your focus. Go for a walk, read a book, journal your thoughts, or engage in a workout. These are all actions that help you grow, stronger mentally, physically, and emotionally. By redirecting your energy, you replace the negative cycle of indulgence with a productive habit that enhances your well-being. Remember, when you practice this redirection consistently, it becomes easier to break the cycle of desire. Lust, or any urge, starts to lose its power because you've trained yourself to replace it with something that serves you better. You're not fighting it, you're outgrowing it. Part 7. Practice voluntary discomfort. One of the most effective ways to strengthen your self-mastery is through voluntary discomfort. The Stoics weren't interested in living in luxury or comfort. They believed that the ability to endure discomfort was a critical part of mastering one's mind and desires. To practice this, start by denying yourself small pleasures. Take cold showers. Skip a meal now and then. Turn off your phone for a few hours. Why? Because when you intentionally expose yourself to discomfort, you build resilience. Over time, the urge to give in to temptations like lust or any other fleeting desire loses its grip. The Stoics understood that the more we can go without, the more control we gain over our impulses. If we can endure discomfort voluntarily, we grow stronger in the face of all desires. Lust becomes just one more passing thought we can choose to ignore, because we've trained ourselves to find strength in discomfort. It's not about suffering for the sake of it, but about training your mind to stay steady regardless of external circumstances. This practice helps you build the mental fortitude to control your reactions, even when temptation is at its peak. Part 8. Your environment matters. We often underestimate the power of our environment. The people we're around, the content we consume, the apps we use, these things shape our thoughts and behavior more than we realize. If you're constantly exposed to temptation, it becomes that much harder to practice self-control. That's why taking control of your environment is crucial. It's not enough to simply rely on willpower. Sometimes you need to remove the very things that fuel your desires. Unfollow accounts that constantly tempt you, uninstall apps that distract you, and unplug from sources of stimulation that encourage impulsive behavior. The Stoics understood that external circumstances play a huge role in shaping our inner state. If you're constantly feeding your mind with content that pulls you away from your goals, your willpower will be tested to its limits. But when you clear the distractions, the temptation fades. Remove the fuel, and the fire of desire loses its intensity. By intentionally curating your environment, you set yourself up for success. It's not just about avoiding temptation, it's about making sure the temptation doesn't even have a chance to show up. Part 9. Reflect daily. At the end of each day, take a moment for reflection. This simple practice can be one of the most powerful tools for self-awareness and growth. Ask yourself, where did I do well today? Where did I give in? What will I do differently tomorrow? By asking these questions, you build accountability. It's easy to overlook our actions in the rush of daily life, but taking time to reflect helps us understand where we've succeeded and where we still have room to grow. This practice isn't about punishing yourself for mistakes, but about learning from them. It's through these small moments of reflection that you turn slip-ups into growth. The Stoics believed in daily self-examination as a way to keep their minds sharp and aligned with their values. By holding yourself accountable, you reinforce your commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. Over time, this consistent practice builds resilience and wisdom, helping you make better choices tomorrow than you did today. Part 10. Progress over perfection. The Stoic path isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And this is where many of us fall into the trap. We think that if we slip up once, we've failed. But the reality is, you will slip. It's part of being human. What matters is not whether you fall, but how you get back up. Every time you pause, reflect, and make a conscious decision to choose wisely, you strengthen your inner discipline. Lust and any other impulse loses its power, not in a single grand victory, but through consistent daily victories. Small steps forward day by day lead to long-term transformation. Remember, the Stoics didn't strive for perfection. They simply strived to improve, to be a little better than they were yesterday. And that, ultimately, is the true goal. Progress, not perfection. Self-control isn't about denial, it's about freedom. And true freedom, as the Stoics taught, comes when the mind rules the body, not the other way around. When you master your desires, you free yourself from the chains of impulsive behavior. You regain control over your life, and with that control, you find peace.